Grill season is upon us, and there are three things I enjoy making on the grill every summer: a paella, a tri-tip, and something new and different I have not made on the grill before. You're gonna have to see what that is this go around. Now, I'm one of the main people in my family who use the grill. I seem to be the one who gravitates more to the grill than any of them, and we all love to cook. But I think that's because I love the fast cooking, I love that all the mess stays in one place, and I love the flavor of the grill. So if you enjoy these videos, please be sure to like and subscribe. Join me on my creative journey. I really appreciate it. All right, so let's get into the video. We're going to start with our paella. Our paella pan or cast iron skillet on the middle two burners. I have chicken broth over here, 5 cups, and I have a little bit of saffron. To this, I'm going to add a pinch of saffron. And we're gonna let that get up to a boil. While that's doing that, we're gonna grill our chorizo.
For this, I'm using 1 package of pork chorizo and 1 package of beef. I'm gonna break up the meat and then I'm gonna close the lid and let it simmer until it's cooked.
It's getting nice and bubbly. Let's go ahead and add our onions. And 1 bell pepper that's been chopped.
I close the grill lid again and let the vegetables simmer until they're softened and mix them all together now with the meat after a few minutes. To this mixture, I'm also going to add a teaspoon of minced garlic.
I'm going to add our riced cauliflower to our skillet.
This is 2 bags of frozen rice cauliflower that I let defrost all the way. I'm going to stir the rice completely with the meat mixture, get it all nice and combined, and then I'm going to get it in a flat, even layer, which is to prepare it for the chicken broth. I'll now add the piping hot chicken broth, which ends up being actually about 4 cups instead of 5 in total. I'm now going to add another cast iron pan inside the other one. This will add as a weight to the rice, which will help absorb all the liquid. It took about 25 minutes for most of the liquid to absorb, and it probably would have went faster if I had a pan that actually covered the entire surface of this cast iron pan.
It's now time to add our seafood. This is our shrimp. This shrimp is not cooked, and I just cut these large shrimp in half. So we're going to bury them in here so they get cooked. It shouldn't take but just a few minutes. And then we have our mussels, which are actually cooked. I'm actually going to get the juice in there too. These are actually cooked, so they just need to sit on top and get warm. I'm going to kind of push them in a little bit. The mussel flesh into the actual rice.
I let these cook and simmer with the grill lid on for about 5 minutes. I'll give it another stir now that everything is cooked and the liquid is absorbed. And let me tell you, this is smelling fantastic. I can't wait to dig in. I'm going to add some green onions to the top to finish it off. And this is ready to go inside to be served. Check out this perfection. I sprinkle some fresh parsley on top. Using my Pampered Chef cast iron skillet instead of a sheet pan is definitely the way to go. Also, first time using cauliflower rice, which turned out even better. In fact, I think this is my best paella yet. My husband and I could not stop eating it straight from the skillet. It was just so delicious. This year, the new recipe I wanted to try was grilled meatballs with Parmesan cauliflower steaks. And the term steaks is used to describe the way they are sliced. And if someone does not eat meat, they may use these as a substitute for a steak because of its more hearty texture. To get my cauliflower and steaks, I take the whole head of cauliflower that I've washed and patted dry. And here's a tip. Be sure to use a knife that is longer than the head of cauliflower to help your slices remain intact. I'm cutting these slices about 1 inch in thickness, and I'll end up with 4 of these steaks. Once I have my slices, I'm going to cover them in olive oil, being sure to coat them on both sides and get in all the crevices. Once completely coated, I'm going to add my seasonings. Since I'm making these with marinara sauce and cheese, I'm going to add some Italian seasonings. I have some black garlic by Pampered Chef that I'll sprinkle on all the pieces, and then I'm sprinkling on oregano. I also want to add a good sprinkle of salt. Now we're ready to head to the grill and get our meatballs started.
Okay, so we have these Italian 3-cheese meatballs from Walmart. I'm going to put those on the grill. They're already seasoned, and I'm just going to add them. Nice to have these pre-made, and we're just going to throw them right on the grill.
I'm adding the meatballs to the direct heat of 3 burners that are on medium-high, and I will continue to rotate them so they get a good sear on each side. After a few minutes, I add my cauliflower steaks to the grill. Now, in hindsight, the cauliflower took longer on the grill to cook than I anticipated, so to reduce that time, I suggest before coating them in oil and seasonings to put these in a glass baking dish and cover with water and cook in the microwave for a minute or two to just soften them a little, then pat them dry before the oil and seasonings. The meatballs didn't take long to cook at all, probably a total of 10 to 15 minutes, so next time I would cook the cauliflower first, then I would add the meatballs after. I move my meatballs to the indirect heat and leave the cauliflower on the direct heat so they can continue cooking. Once they had a nice char and are softened, I'm ready to add my marinara sauce and mozzarella cheese.
Okay, now I'm adding a package of sliced mozzarella. This is the fresh log that's already pre-sliced. I wish these slices were a little thinner, so it's going to take a little longer to melt. But I still think fresh mozzarella is the way to go with this. Let's cover it up. Get a good melt. Our cheese is nice and melted. Let's go ahead and plate them up.
I love how this turned out, and with just a pre-cook of that cauliflower in advance, and this would be a perfect dish. So keep that in mind to make this a keeper. The Italian Parmesan with the grilled flavors made this so good. I think it's something you should definitely try on your grill. Up next, I'm making one of my favorite things to make on the grill, and that is the tri-tip. I look forward to this each summer. One of the things I am fortunate to have is a high quality meat store that offers the tri-tip seasoned and unseasoned. I always get it seasoned, but if you don't have that option, be sure to generously season your meat, your tri-tip, prior to grilling.
Here's the key on a tri-tip. You get the hottest part of the grill at the highest heat. You have it fat side down and you let it do its thing. You let it get a nice char. Don't move it, don't touch it. That flame coming up, that's touching the fat. That fat, if it gets too high, looks like it's getting a little high. Let's lower that. We want it to get a nice char, and then we're going to move it to the hot part. Now on my grill, I have actually a sear burner. It comes higher, the grates come higher to the top, so it gives it a sear, so that's what this is perfect for. I'm gonna turn it off because I know that flame's been hitting that fat of that tri-tip for a few minutes now. Let's go ahead and flip it over. That's exactly what we're looking for. Perfect. Now I'm going to put it on the other 2 burners, and now it's going to finish cooking. We don't want it to do a sear now. All that fat is going to render down. The juices are going to go into the meat as it cooks. That's the flavor right there. We're going to let it do its thing for quite some time, so I'm actually going to lower the heat to a low setting and let it just cook for a long time.
A couple of tips on a tri-tip. I always have my thermometer with me, and I'm making sure I take its temperature periodically. I'm looking for medium rare, 130 to 140, but I'm going to take it off at about 120 and let it rest, and it'll come up to temperature. The other thing is when it gets closer to being done, I'm going to take it off the grill to give it the most accurate temperature reading. This way I'm taking the temperature of the meat and not of the grill. Our tri-tip is done cooking and ready to come off the grill. It's been going for about 30 minutes, and what I love about the tri-tip, besides the flavor, because it's amazing, is that you can just leave it on the grill and do its thing after you get that sear. And look at this perfection. Look at the color of the meat. I probably could have cooked it maybe just a little less to have it a little more pink, but I think it turned out fabulous. I love the flavor because once again, that fat cap dripping into that meat, oh my gosh, so much flavor in this. This is a cross between a roast and a steak. That's why it is so delicious. You have the best of both flavors. We served ours up with a dollop of horseradish and sour cream mixed together, and then we also served it with our air-fried corn on the cob. A wonderfully tasty meal, and this is why tri-tip is one of my favorite things to cook on the grill. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see other recipes, including the air fryer corn on the cob, be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you are notified when I post a new video. Happy grilling, everyone!